Hey guys, and welcome to Unit 4, Part 3 of your video notes. We are going to be focusing on reinforcement within our learning unit. Reinforcement is just simply a term we use in operant conditioning that strengthens a behavior that you want to happen again, whether it's a positive or negative reinforcer. So, one of our first types of reinforcement is avoidance reinforcement. And it's also known as avoidance learning. You could see those both ways. And this is just where somebody avoids something altogether so that a response doesn't happen again. So an example would be you have previously failed a test. So for this next unit, you're going to study a lot and hope to avoid future failing grades. And this can change behavior permanently. Next, we have learned helplessness. And this is an organism's learning through experience with unavoidable negative stimuli that is no longer in control over negative outcomes. Learned helplessness we see a lot in schools. If you guys look at this example, a student fails in school whether they study, student gives up on studying. We know if he studied or she studied or went to the teacher for help or tutoring, they might do better or improve their study skills. It could be better. However, this person just continues to give up. We see this all the time as a teacher with people doing warm-ups. Sometimes I don't choose to give the answer on the warm-ups because people will just sit there expecting to get the answer or having learned helplessness. They don't feel like searching for the answer. They don't feel like looking back in their notes or using their resources and getting a book and looking something up. They'd rather be helpless and get the answer. And when it happens over and over again, they learn that if they're helpless, they'll still get the answer. We do have two types of reinforcers. We have our primary reinforcers and then our secondary reinforcers. Our primary reinforcers are ones that are satisfying our biological needs, whether it's food or water or sexual satisfaction. And then we have our secondary reinforcers, which are our learned condition reinforcers. You learn to be satisfied through a certain experience. You see this a lot in school with PBIS. You guys know our little PATS tickets. A little going to the dentist. You guys, as a little kid, would sometimes get to pick like 5 presents from the treasure box. That's a secondary thing. Grades, paychecks, being rewarded or being given something for a desired behavior. And then we have schedules of reinforcement, which again, 2 of them are a lot like the ones from classical conditioning. You have your generalization. You perform and reinforce behavior in a different situation. So you learned if you turned in your work in 3rd grade, your teacher would praise you. Sometimes give you PATS tickets, so you know when you moved up to 4th grade, if you did those same things, you probably would get praise. Discrimination, responding appropriately to stimuli that signal that a behavior will or will not be reinforced, which you have to make a decision on whether you know, hey, I'm going to do this good thing even if I'm not going to be rewarded. Extinction, behavior decreases when reinforcement stops. If you go into middle school and you're used to getting PATS tickets and you don't get one anymore, you might be like, well, fine, I'm not going to do my homework. But then you might get a reality check, spontaneous recovery might occur, and you might decide you want to start doing that again. Our schedules of reinforcement are specific set pattern times that a behavior will be reinforced. It could be continuous, so for every single one, or partial. And these 4 are super, super, super important. So I want you guys to put a star next to the partial reinforcement vocabulary words. And here are our examples. So first you have fixed ratio. You could see this abbreviated as FR. The fixed ratio allows reinforcement to follow a certain set of behaviors, such as after every 10th good behavior or every 10 coffees, you get 1 for free. Variable ratio, reinforcement follows an unpredictable number of behaviors, an average. So this is like playing a slot machine or going fishing. You might throw your rod in a couple times, and every once in a while you might get a reward and get a fish. Fixed interval. Reinforcement follows behavior that occurs after a set amount of time. This can be a fixed time, such as every Tuesday there's a student discount at Chipotle. Another one, elections. Amount set of time has to last before the next one. And then a variable interval. Reinforcement follows behavior that occurs at an unpredictable amount of time. Examples, pop quizzes or checking for an email. We don't really know when that email is going to pop up. And here's a little graph that shows you how much time usually occurs. Some are more quick and more predictable. Some aren't. And then we have punishment. Punishment decreases a behavior, and there can be positive punishment as well as negative punishment. And these are a little bit tricky. Positive punishment, an unpleasant stimulus is added, such as like a child getting spanked or a parking ticket, because you're adding something. Negative punishment, where something gets removed. So it could be like jail time, your freedom's being removed, your license revoked if you get a DUI or anything. And these are easy examples, but when we look at more scenarios, they can get a little bit challenging. You have to think, is this being added? Is this being taken away? And sometimes you can defend that it could be both. Here's a couple more examples with punishment. You take medication to cure a headache. Positive punishment, something's being added, you have a allergic reaction. Negative reinforcement, the headache goes away, so it's leaving, so you want to take more of that in the future. So same scenarios, but with positive or negative punishment, you play out different ways. Here are examples of positive reinforcement. Next two are positive punishment. Just take a moment to read those. Timing of consequences. They can be delayed, but you want behaviors to happen almost immediately. If any of you guys have gotten a new puppy or a new animal, if they were to go to the bathroom in the house, you wouldn't want to wait a week and be like, hey, Lucky, please don't go to the bathroom in the house. You would want to tell them, like, hey, when this happens, we go outside and bring the dog outside. It can be challenging, but if you're consistent, learning will take place. And then we have our operant conditioning with applied behavior analysis, which is just a type of behavior modification. You can see this in work and school performance. This can help with autistic children. With repetitive skills, they can learn how to adjust to better prepare them for certain skills in the future. This can help with effective parenting. Can help with environment, workplace safety, and just simply improving self-control. I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you in part 4.